So we're going to do stop, start, jog with the timer and a motor starter. I just noticed I almost didn't draw the timer coil. There we go. So starting at the front, L1, I'm going to take power into my stop button. So over here, we have all of our power that's coming in. And you're just going to terminate into one of them. So we have our constant source of power coming into the stop button right down here. So power into stop. Check it, it's tight, good. Now, I've got to get out of stop and into the open of my start. So out of my stop. Into the open of my start. So I'm coming down the sides right here. So I'm going to go to the end of the open of my jog also. Give me a little jumper. That's probably what I'll use before. Kind of twist them together. Okay. So now I came out of my stop into the start. Okay, those are tight. So the end of the open of my start to the end of the open of my jog. So I'm going to twist those together.
Open up the jog.
Yep, end to the open of the jog. Okay, end of open of the jog is going to go to the end of the close of the jog. So I'm on the third rung. And that's where it stops at. Okay. Now it has to leave the out of the close of the jog into, I wrote these backwards. Into the timer normally closed controlled contacts. So it could be the 1 and the 4 or the 8 and the 5 on the bases that we're using. So these are a little bit long. So it's leaving the closed of the jog. And it's going to come into, and I'm going to shorten this wire a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit easier. The time controlled contacts of our timer. And I like to use 1 and 4 personally. Don't matter, 1 and 4 or 8 and 5. It's up to you. So I'm into my timer. Now I got to come out of my timer into my memory circuit. So I'm going to take it into 14. So this will reach out of the normally close of the timer. Mine, I'm using number 4. And I'm going to take it to 14 right here. Didn't get it again. And you notice when I do it, I always pull them. If it's loose, I fix it right there. So I've done everything to all of the open sets. So now all I'm going to start working on is I'm going to go from the out of the open of the jog to the out of the open of the start, the little jumper. It's going to be these two right here. So I'm going to jumper here to here, and then I'm going to start working my way that way. So I'm going to do the little short wire, longer, and that's going to be a short wire. So I'm going to get my little short one for the little jumper. Use these two. So this is the out of the open of the jog. There it goes. To the out of, grab this one, the start. Open of the start. You got it, buddy.
I tried 2 different timers, and it's like behaving differently with each one. So I got it close, but I'm not sure what the problem is.
We'll definitely check it out and figure out everything.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So now I've got the out of the open of the jog to the out of the open of the start. And the whole purpose of it is to fire my coil. So I'm going to run this up to the A1. And I also got to get it to the memory seal 13. So I'm going to need another little short piece of wire. This is going to tie the memory seal, and then you got to have a piece of wire that's going to turn on or energize the timer coil. So I'm going to get my second piece real quick. Open this up. And that goes to my timer coil. So now you've got all of the main power done for everything. We just have to do the neutrals now. So L2 has got to go through the overloads to A2, and L2 also has got to get to your timer neutral. So I'm going to take it from all of my neutrals I got right here, loosen them all up. tighten that one up. This is going to go to your timer, and it's got to go into 95 or 96 of your overloads. On the NEMAs, you notice it just says normally closed, so you don't have the number. You just got to look for NC on them. That one will go right there. This one, I'm gonna run N95, which is this one, just because I'm a creature of habit. I like to do things the same, over and over. It makes it easier for me. You get your pattern. And then we got one last wire. It's long. It's got to go from here to here. A2. That's tight. This one goes right here. Okay, everything's in, everything's tight. So I'm going to run the wires with you just so we go wire for wire. Okay, so power L1 into stop. L1 power into stop. That's that wire right there. Out of my stop into my start open. Out of my stop into my start open. And I come down this way. In of start open, in of jog open. In of start open, in of jog open. In of jog open to in of jog closed. In of jog open to in of jog closed. Out of jog closed, in to timer contact, normally closed, and I'm using the number 1 on my base. Out of the jog closed, into number 1 on my timer base. Out of the closed contacts of the timer, number 4 on my base, into 14 on my memory circuit. So out of number 4 on my timer base into number 14 on my timer circuit. Now I've got everything up to the open contacts done. So now I go from the out of the open of the jog to the out of the open of the start. Out of, let me see, it's this one right here. Out of the open of the jog to the out of the open of the start. Out of the open of the start over to the coil. Out of the open of the start up to the coil. That's that wire. You've got the A1 from your coil to your memory seal number 13. A1 of your coil to your memory seal number 13. That's that wire. And I'm going from the 13 to the timer coil, which is from the 13 to the timer coil. That's this wire right here. Yeah, you've got everything from the L1s all the way to the outputs. So all you got to do is L2 into the timer and L2 through the overload 95 and 96 to the coil. So we got L2 up to your timer coil. And then you got your L2 from the timer coil going in to number 95 of the overloads. Out number 96 of the overloads up to A2 on your motor starter. So now that you've got it in, we'll plug it in. That goes there. It's on. Let me plug us in. Oops, sorry. So now we're plugged in. It's on. You push start. Motor starter's on. Timer's timing. And when it times out at 4 seconds, it shuts off. So we can push start. Motor starter's on. Timer's timing. As soon as it times out, it shuts it off. So any questions with what we wired up right now on this example? So I'm just going to upload it all, then that way we'll leave the board here too, so you can literally match everything wire for wire.
Can we check the board out for the weekend?
Yeah.